Howdy, and welcome back to Slide Bites. Just a little bit of a jinty vibe intro there, since we are talking about a 7-string electric guitar today. This is the Jackson JS22-7, a hardtail archtop Dinky, which is actually a very convenient body shape. This is my first experience really owning. This was my first Jackson, and this is actually my first experience owning a smaller scaled super strat style body, I guess you could call it, or a double cut. S-type is what a lot of people call it. And I know this is a Fender owns Jackson, if you don't know that, so I don't really feel too bad saying strat style with this one. I don't know if that's supposed to be how you do it or not, but I just did it. Anyway, this guitar is actually a very low budget guitar. You can get them around $199, I believe, most of the time. I got one special sale at $150 from one of the bigger guitar retailers, and it shipped to me in a Gibson 1959 Les Paul box, so not in the original box, which is a little heartbreaking, especially when I opened up and realized my fretboard had been split from either, it was actually cracked in several spots, were split, either from humidity or just being too dry. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have some experience in fixing things like that, some training, and I actually did go in and repair my own fretboard. So I could have probably sent it back and said, you know, whatever, got it repaired, but I just don't. Again, $150. I didn't raise a fit over it. Some people probably would, and maybe you should. I am very much not a drama kind of guy, and if I can fix it myself, I'd rather do that. Not to mention, it makes me feel like I'm closer to the guitar, so it is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, those were splits through here. Now this is a 24 fret guitar, 26.5-inch scale length, I do believe, which is good for a lot of drop tunings. This is actually in drop G right now, using Ernie Ball Power Slinky strings, and I gotta say, they really sound good on this thing. And I love these smaller Jackson tooth inlays. I just love them. I think I actually like them a little better than the larger ones. They're a little subtle, a little more subtle, and well, actually they're a lot more subtle than regular Jackson big inlays. But it just makes this guitar have a very sleek design. Now I think I've not seen this one in a while on the line too much. You see it on Guitarist or Musician's Friend, whatever, but you don't really see it on Jackson's website very often, and even it kind of comes and goes. It seems like there's a satin model they push more with more of a exposed pickup. These are your standard Jackson soap bar style pickups. They are humbucking though, but they're great guitar pickups. Honestly, they're a little mid-range focused. There's a bit of a bite there in the mid-range. I've had to kind of fight with that a little bit and figure it out. I've got everything kind of tweaked. I don't scoop my mids very often. I actually leave a lot of mids in so I can play with jam tracks. It doesn't sound very weird, because if you scoop a lot and you're focusing a lot of bass and treble, I feel like it does sound. They're right. If you listen to a lot of professional musicians, they'll tell you you're adding a lot of mid range back in. I've experimented in practice with this I started playing back when I was 14, you know, in bass, and just kept going up from there. And 14 or 15, anyway. And I found that, yeah, you want to add some mid range back in. I think they're absolutely right. You lose some character in the mix. And if you're playing with jam tracks, you'll notice it. You'll catch on. It's not quite the same. I don't feel like it's playing for a full-on band in person, but you do see some of that, especially if you're trying to play along with actual music, like bands on your phone or whatever hooked in your amp. Anyway, so yeah, I can't really say quality-wise go buy this thing, because the cracks in the fretboard, I don't know if that was a manufacturer issue or if it was a shipping issue. It didn't come in its box, so I want to say it's probably not necessarily a guitar manufacturer, but I don't know that. So I kind of been telling people you might look at ESP LTDs or some of the other budget options that are out there. They're all somewhere around this price. I think honestly, guitars these days, even the cheaper ones, are great guitars, and that's kind of the point of this channel, is I kind of want to show people that these budget guitars can be great, and if this is what you're looking for, go ahead and buy it. I mean, like I said, there's another version that's a satin. I like this. I think this just looks very sleek and sexy, very, very nice. Forgive my doodling on my truss rod cover. Anyway, I love this Archtop. It's very comfortable to play on, and it just looks good. It really does. I think there's one small ding on there. I'm presuming that was probably there. Again, I don't know what this guitar saw before it got to me, so I can't bash too much or say too much, and that's usually not what I want to do anyway. But I do want to be honest with everybody and tell you up front if I think, you know, there's a quality control issue or not. Knobs are good. They've stayed on so far. They've not had this guitar very long. Got it back in January. Actually, it was a gift from my wife, and I'm very appreciative of it. I did file and polish my frets edges down a little bit, and it made it pretty smooth. This is a very non-rolled fingerboard, by the way. It's a very flat, fast, smooth neck, and I like that. I prefer a satin finish, just no finish really at all, just sanded to a very smooth texture, smooth feel all across the neck. That's really what I prefer. I don't want a whole lot of lacquer or any coatings in the neck at all. I think it feels way better in my hand, and it's faster. And I'm not even really a shredder player, but that is just something I prefer. So yeah, other than the cracks in the fretboard and a little bit of a mid-range poke in these pickups that it takes some adjustment to get used to, it's actually a pretty good guitar, and I find it very fast. And as you heard in there, you can get so deep and heavy with 7 strings. I listen to a lot of Korn, I listen to Slipknot, and as people know, I'm a Breaking Benjamin fan. They don't really use 7 strings, but I'm trying to think of heavier music. If you're into heavier music in general, 7 strings are great for that, and most people know that by now. And this was my first foray into it. I was like, yay, I've learned 4-string bass. I can play 5-string bass. I've been playing 6-string guitar for a number of years. Let's go ahead and try something new and push the edge. And this, for $150, this was actually a great way to push the edge and learn something new. And I don't really have too much trouble going back and forth between 6 and 7 strings. Some people seem to have some struggling with that. And that's something that you gotta really take some time and work on. If you have trouble with it, to get your brain in that mode of, okay, I have an extra string here, I can go really deep if I really want to. And I think it's hard too, because how wide these fretboards are for a lot of people to just jump back and forth. For me, like I said, I started on bass anyway, so this kind of feels a little bit right in a way. I don't know how to explain it. Not that all basses have a really wide fretboard. I don't know, my Yamaha's is pretty wide, though. I'm not sure what it is, but as far as ratio, but it's pretty wide. I've had that guitar for a long time. Anyway, so very wide, very flat neck, very much thinner than my Jackson King V. And yeah, guys, she really does play well, and she sounds good. We can go ahead and, let's go ahead and turn the volume back up, and let's go ahead and go to the middle position a little bit. Neck. Back to the middle. Back to the bridge. I just wanted to take off on this guitar when I pick it up. I do really like this guitar, despite the way it came to me. And again, it's one of those things. I do like it, and if you are in the situation where you can get hands-on and examine the guitar first, you might want to do that. I will say, I've seen other models than this one, and the fretboards look like a different wood material. I read when I first got this, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, that it was an amaranth, which is like Purple Heart. So maybe it just dried in shipping. Maybe it was in a container somewhere for a while. I don't know, but it was definitely cracked. It looked like the newer ones I've seen in person have either a laurel or an actual rosewood, something like that. I'm not sure what rosewood status is right now, as far as being allowed for import and all that with guitars and use with guitars. But as far as the newer model of this particular Jackson JS22-7 with this nice glossy finish here, I have seen them with a different style of wood on the neck, a different type, and I think this looks better, but maybe there was just a general issue. So I'm not sure. It's just something that I have noticed. I've seen other people online that have this type of guitar with if you look at that neck, it is, you barely see grain in it at all. It's just very dark, and it looks it almost looks like they were trying to go with something similar to ebony, and it's obviously not, but it was like they're trying to get it there. I'm not sure. But anyway, appearance-wise, I think that's what they were going to try to give that impression of. But anyway, as far as, other alternatives, like I said, ESP, and, look at Ibanez and, Schecters and all those, I think this is probably one of the cheaper ones you can get, and I know they do have the satin model, and they both go on sale off and on those bigger guitar retailers here in the United States. So just kind of keep an eye on it, but I definitely recommend trying to get your hands on it first, and just for quality, do a good once over. I ordered this online, that's just how it got to me. But, definitely if you can, try it in person. And I did file down a little bit of this edge on the fret, around the nut, I'm sorry. It was poking me. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was down here playing, somehow, anyway. So yeah, get your hands on one of these, try it first, see if you like it. If not, maybe go look at one of the alternatives. I definitely say that with 7-string in general, get your hands on it and see if it's something you'd even be interested in learning. I just did this on a whim. I figured $150, I didn't risk too much, and yeah, there was some definite repairs that needed done, but really, as far as learning curve, there is one. But for me, it wasn't too bad. But it might be harder for other people. But if this is just something you're wanting to get into, just for a change of pace, I say go for it. I think Jackson makes great guitars, and ESP, LTDs are good guitars too. I've played plenty of those. They're always good guitars. So just get it out there and get your hands on it if you can. If not, read reviews. Read the reviews. When I bought this, there weren't that many reviews on it. So just really investigate what you're doing, and with this, some of those things with budget guitars, sometimes you get great things, sometimes you don't get great things. I'm just trying to tell you what the good and the bad are on them, because I love budget guitars, and I find it a great way to increase collection if you get a good one. And other than doing my own repairs on it, it has actually been, I love playing the guitar, and this is what kind of started my love. I already liked Jackson, but this neck shape and the thinness and the sound and the thinness of this neck and just the I honestly, once I got that mid-range tamed a bit, I fell in love with this guitar, and I fell in love with Jackson like hardcore. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop her there, because I feel like I've just rambled on enough about this guitar. It is a good one, but definitely try to get your hands on them. I will probably have more content coming up fairly soon. Got more stuff on order, as always, because it's kind of what happens when you get a guitar. Things show up all the time. All the time. Anyway, every day is Christmas when you're a guitarist. Anyway, see you guys later. Keep shredding, Pardners. Talk to you later. Bye.